What's up, guys? Welcome to Forge Master Metal Reviews, the place where you can get the most out of your metal.
It's June. It's that time of the year. We are starting it off with the best of 2022 so far.
Nite, Voices of the Kronian Moon, released March 25th on Season of Mist. There's something about their traditional metal sound mixed with that evil black metal vocals that just plain fucking works, man. Everything on this album is meticulously crafted in the catchy riff domain, akin to bands like Iron Maiden and Sentient, but there's even some classic rock vibes, which make things sound extra cult in many places on this record. The production on Voices of the Kronian Moon is superb as well. Everything sounds subtle, spooky, but there's still a nice weighty low end where the energy is, just to keep you a little bit more interested. If you somehow missed this album, shame on you. Spin it. It's amazing. I don't see a lot of people talking about it, and that is a spooky shame. 4.8 out of 5 Astral Necromancers.
My first perfect score of 2022 was Michael Romeo in his War of the Worlds Part 2. Michael Romeo quickly became one of my favorite guitarists when I saw him play live at a little nightclub in Providence. I don't even think they hosted metal shows. It was just like a fucking hip-hop nightclub with Symphony X 10 feet away from me, and I just had my face melted off by Michael Romeo. Not only does this album have some of the most ridiculous guitar playing I've ever heard, we cannot discount the incredible vocal performance by Dino Jalusic. This dude is basically hand-picked by Michael Romeo himself to perform the vocals, and it is a match made in cybernetic heaven. This is second to Cult of Luna's highly cinematic atmosphere of music, except this album is much more in line with a Marvel movie score versus a David Lynch psych thriller that Cult of Luna would probably put out. Romeo is such a diverse and talented player. He has the ability to melt your face off in every sector of the fretboard. The prog influences really help to tidy up the songwriting and pacing on this record. Every year I fall for a power prog record, and this album is the one of 2022. 5 out of 5 human-cyborg relations.
My next pick is Temple of Void, Summoning the Slayer, released June 3rd on Relapse Records. I am completely in love with this record, dude. From the gigantic and oppressive riffs, gross and massive production, Summoning the Slayer feels like you're slowly awakening an elder giant sleeping deep beneath the earth. I hear a ton of old school slow death metal inspiration from the likes of Morbid Angel's slower tunes and Ackerfeld era Bloodbath in the vocal department. There's a good dose of accessibility too on this album, which leads the songs having a kind of hypnotic effect as the album endlessly dirges toward oblivion. If you love your riffs low and slow with a heavy dose of twisted black swirling chasms of despair, you gotta check this one out. I can't get it out of my rotation lately. Crushing and devastating. 4.7 out of 5 great old awakened titans.
All That Was Promised sure lived up to its promise of being one of Hath's best albums and easily my favorite death metal record from this year. This band knows how to unleash a fury, bring you down a bit with some melodic prog-inspired elements, then snap you in half with some ravaging black metal influences. Sometimes I want a death metal record that feels as introspective as it does brutal, and that's exactly what Hath delivered here. The prog elements take you inside your own mind, while the blackened death helps you to tear apart concepts of reality, leaving you grounded and highly entertained. In my notes, I actually put Where Owls Know My Name Part 2. It's a bit of a stretch, but if you really wish Rivers of Nile went for a more death metal approach on their last record, I think this one is going to fill a gap for you. One of my first gold metal records from this year. All That Was Promised sits very comfortably at 4.8 out of 5 Ravens Watching the Boneyard. My favorite death metal record from this year, hands down.
Definitely, dude. And you nailed it with the description. Where Owls Know My Name Part 2 is like the perfect way to describe it. My next pick is Deathwhite, Grey Everlasting, released June 10th on Season of Mist. This band is the ultimate modern love letter to one of my favorite metal genres, and that's melodic doom. With the album title Grey Everlasting, I have to wonder though, is that a play on the lyrics from Grey Dawn by October Tide, which in the chorus he says, Grey Dawn, Everlasting? If so, well played, and I love the nod. Deathwhite plays a fantastic modern take on the melodic doom genre, with inspirations from the doom greats like My Dying Bride, Catatonia, and Paradise Lost. The album is meticulously crafted, and every song seems to have its place in the whole lineup, keeping the pace of this record spot on for repeat listens. I love how the band is able to envelop a sense of misery, but contrast it against noble beauty in the music. The production's spot on too, pristine, clear, with a balanced sense of desolation. Fans of melodic doom, you are right at home here with one of the best frickin' doom albums of the damn year. 4.7 out of 5, Wanderers of Despair.
I think melodic doom is taking the category for the best subgenre this year, and this is one of the best albums in that by far.
Don't miss it.
Another early favorite of mine from 2022, Dark Millennium's Acid River, came in at the beginning of this year as a total sleeper hit. This is one of those bands that have been around for decades, actively shaping the progressive death doom genre without much fanfare. As far as that unique subgenre goes, progressive death doom isn't something that a lot of bands are good at. Dark Millennium spits in the face of everything that you thought doom should sound like, injecting psychedelic influences that will cause you to wonder what the hell you're listening to exactly. For anyone that enjoys the early days of Tiamat, Paradise Lost, or Rotting Christ, you've got to spin this one. It's a total mindfuck that is somehow utterly coherent. I love this record. There's a lot of great death doom out this year for sure. It's probably the best subgenre category, as we just said. But there's something completely unmatched about Dark Millennium's unique, perverse way of bringing 90s death doom back to life. 4.7 out of 5, Flowing Rivers of LSD.
Even the album cover is like LSD-like. So good. My next one is Miseration, Black Miracles and Dark Wonders, released April 22nd on Massacre Records. It's been about a decade since Miseration's last release, and man, does this album freaking kill. This is an extremely well-crafted, melodic black and death metal record that explores a ton of different vibes, from fast to slow to visceral and intense. I came out of this album thoroughly impressed, though, in the technical approach and the melodic tendencies all over the songwriting. One thing I really loved here, though, were the symphonic passages that just heighten the music in their melodic approach in these compositions. The production's fantastic, too. Very polished, extremely balanced. Look at that album art, too. So freaking rad. And Scar Symmetry fans, take note here, look up the notes, you'll know why you love them. 4.7 out of 5, Lords of the Underdark.
It's been a lot of great melodic death black albums from this year, but I think this one is at the top of the heap for sure. Satan's Earth Infernal, yup! Can't get enough of this record. Here it is on my best of the year so far. This album is fucking riff city. The guitar playing on this record is just so top-notch, and the sonic quality that they're able to dial in is superb. I mean, the overall production vibe on this is very analog without sacrificing anything in the mix. It really feels like you're in the room with the band. I love the subtle change to the atmosphere. For example, when the drummer changes his power hand from a crash to like the bell, it's little stuff like that that makes me miss the unique sound of analog recording, and it's fucking awesome to see bands like Satan not shying away from their production roots. Front to back, this is my favorite in the trad heavy category. If you want something that is still traditional while maintaining an occult vibe, Satan's Earth Infernal is one of the best from this year. 4.8 out of 5, Spells from Lucifer.
One thing I love about this album too is it sounds like the album cover.
You see the album cover and you get exactly what you are envisioning.
Sentient horror, Rites of Gore, released April 22nd on Redefining Darkness. This album is straight up HM2 worship, akin to Swedish greats like Entombed, but with a fresh coat of paint. This album definitely does not reinvent the wheel, but honestly, how many HM2 worship bands do? It just, who cares? It's awesome. More of a badass thing is still freaking badass. The production here is top notch. The riffs are swampy and gory as hell. There's nods to early Floridian death metal riffing as well, reminding me of moments from Scream Bloody Gore and Tomb of the Mutilated, which is great, dude. To top it all off, the album was mixed by Johnny Peterson, a killer engineer, and mastered by the one and only Dan Swano. This is a destroyer of an album you definitely need to check out if you missed it. I happen to love it more than the latest Undeath record, so haters hate. There's that for you. 4.6 out of 5, Undead Priests.
There are a lot of albums that are kind of clawing in this territory of like HM2, old school death metal. I think this is the right choice for the one that comes out on top of the heap. Spiral Skies, Death is But a Door. This record is a perfectly paced traditional doom metal album. There are hits all over it at 9 tracks in 43.5 minutes of total runtime. It's a doom metal album that really doesn't overwhelm, which is nice. There's a ton of catchy licks and amazing vocal passages from Frida. The lo-fi production really helps this band fit into the trad category without losing the punch that they really need. You gotta be a punchy doom band, folks. What I really admire about this Swedish ensemble is that they know how to write catchy songs in a traditional vein that are not only fist-bumping, but have an aura of mysticism and a feeling that you're evoking the occult while you listen to it. This is by far my favorite in the trad doom category. 4.8 out of 5, Portals to the Ether.
Nailed it, dude. Another perfect pick in that trad doom category. So what are your favorite albums so far? We're mid-year, so drop them down in the comments.
Go with the gods, Forge mates. And remember, death is but a door.
See you guys next time.